Japanese pediatrician was sitting in his clinic one afternoon comparing two groups of children, same age, same basic biology, same immune system design, same city, same school, but one group came to his clinic 3 times a year on average, the other group came once, sometimes not at all. He spent months trying to find the genetic difference, the dietary difference, the sleep difference. And then one of his nurses pointed to something so simple, so ordinary, so completely invisible in its daily practice that he almost dismissed it entirely. It was not a supplement. It was not a vaccine protocol. It was not a special food or an expensive program. It was a 30-second habit that almost every Japanese child performs twice a day, every single day, that the rest of the world has almost entirely forgotten. And the biology behind why it works is so clear, so well documented, and so completely ignored by Western medicine that once you understand it, you will never look at your child's after-school routine the same way again. Before Sodhar reveals the habit, you need to understand something about how children get sick, because almost everything most Western parents believe about childhood illness is wrong. Most parents believe their child gets sick because their immune system is weak. So they give vitamin C, they give zinc, they give elderberry syrup, they try to boost the immune system. But here is what the science actually shows. A healthy child's immune system is not weak. It is extraordinarily powerful. The problem is not the immune system's strength. The problem is timing. By the time a child's immune system detects a respiratory virus and begins mounting a defense, the virus has already replicated thousands of times in the warm, moist mucous membranes of the nose and throat. The immune system is not losing the battle because it is weak. It is losing the battle because it arrived late, after the virus had already established itself too deeply to be stopped quickly. What Japanese children do twice every day is not about strengthening the immune system. It is about reducing the viral load before the immune system even has to respond. And the difference in outcome is not subtle. Several Japanese studies have shown that routine gargling is associated with reduced duration and severity of illness. In some cases, illnesses that typically lasted a week resolved in just a few days. The habit is called ugai, the Japanese practice of gargling and mouth rinsing performed immediately upon arriving home and before bed every single day without exception. In Japan, when children come home, they are taught to rinse their mouth and gargle their throat, not occasionally, not when sick, but every single day. Schools do it, families do it. It is as automatic as washing hands, but here is what makes ugai different from simply rinsing your mouth. The gargling portion, the deep throat gargle that Japanese children are taught from toddlerhood, reaches the exact location where respiratory viruses first establish themselves. The posterior pharynx, the back of the throat, is where rhinovirus, influenza, and most respiratory pathogens make their first home, before spreading downward into the lungs and upward into the sinuses. A 30-second deep gargle with plain water or salt water mechanically disrupts the viral particles that have landed there, reduces their concentration, and gives the immune system a dramatically smaller initial viral load to contend with. Rinsing does not boost immunity, it reduces viral load before the immune system has to fight. Less virus in means less illness out. That is not ideology. That is exposure biology. But ugai is only one part of the Japanese child health system. The second element is something called soto asobi, outdoor play in all weather conditions. Japanese schools send children outside regardless of temperature. Rain, cold, mild winter days, children play outside. And this is not negligence. It is deliberate biological design. Viruses that cause colds and flu are spread by other human beings and they live indoors. The indoor circulation of germs and bacteria is far more harmful to a child than playing outside in the cold. Japanese schools have understood this for generations. Fresh air disperses viral particles. Sunlight produces vitamin D, which directly regulates immune function. Physical movement increases lymphatic circulation, which is the immune system's transport network. And the specific stress of mild cold exposure activates the body's adaptive stress response, a process called hormesis, which over time builds a more responsive, more resilient immune system. Western parents who keep children indoors when it is cold are doing the opposite of what biology recommends. The third element is the Japanese approach to sleep protection for children. Japan has strict cultural norms around children's sleep that are non-negotiable in most families. Screens off well before bedtime, warm bath to trigger melatonin, early consistent sleep time. And this matters for immunity in ways that most parents have never been told. The immune system does its most critical maintenance and repair work during deep sleep. growth hormone, which regulates immune cell production, is released almost exclusively during the first few hours of deep sleep. A child who sleeps 7 hours gets dramatically less immune maintenance than a child who sleeps 9 or 10. Research from the University of California found that people who slept fewer than 6 hours per night were 4 times more likely to catch a cold when exposed to a virus than those who slept more than 7 hours. Japanese parents do not negotiate bedtime, they protect it, because they understand, perhaps intuitively, perhaps culturally, that sleep is not a luxury for children. It is the most powerful immune support available to them. The fourth element is the Japanese relationship with fermented food. Miso soup is served at almost every Japanese family meal, including breakfast, and miso is not simply flavoring. It is a deeply fermented food containing live cultures that directly populate and support the gut microbiome. Modern immunology has established with increasing certainty that approximately 70% of the immune system lives in the gut, in the form of immune cells, lymphoid tissue, and the microbiome that regulates both. A child whose gut microbiome is rich, diverse, and well populated with beneficial bacteria has a fundamentally stronger mucosal immune system, the first line of defense against every respiratory pathogen that enters through the nose and mouth. Japanese children consume fermented foods from the time they begin eating solids. Western children consume processed foods that actively deplete the microbiome. The difference in immune outcomes is not coincidental. So here is what Sodhar wants every parent to do starting tonight. Not a supplement program, not an expensive protocol. 4 things, all free, all backed by science, all practiced in Japan for centuries. First, teach your child to gargle every day when they come home. 30 seconds deep in the throat, plain water or salt water. Do it together so it becomes automatic. Second, get your child outside every day regardless of the weather. Even 15 minutes of outdoor air and movement is immunologically meaningful. Third, protect their sleep without compromise. Screens off 1 hour before bed. Same sleep time every night. No negotiations. And fourth, add 1 fermented food to their daily diet. Miso soup, yogurt, kefir, kimchi, anything alive and cultured. These 4 habits practiced daily will not guarantee your child never gets sick. But they will do something the supplement industry has never been able to do. They will work with your child's biology instead of trying to override it. That is the Japanese approach. Not more intervention, better design.